How are you, folks? Enzo DiCasenzo podcast, and today we're going to continue our time value of money conversations. I think we're up to the 12th one. Is it number 12? I think it's number 12. 11, sorry. But today we'll have some PowerPoints. And actually, before we even start that, let's do this. There's a graduate course that I'm teaching, and here's the graduate course. So for the undergraduates, just have a few minutes of patience with this. I just wanted to introduce sort of how I work to the graduate students real quickly, and then we'll get to the PowerPoints and the Excel, and that'll be good for the graduate students to sort of see how that all is. But here, this is what is this? Management economics or managerial economics? What is it? What are we doing here? This is management economics, and this is the distance learning version. So again, for the graduate students, GB 622, make sure you're in the right course, 56874. Okay, we go from February 28th to May 16th, so the second half of the semester. And there's an optional, we can get all, I guess, Tuesdays carved out as our night where we can get online together or thereabouts. So there's a textbook. You should have a laptop computer when the start class begins, when it ends, all that stuff. The topics are real good. Okay, these are, and again, in the undergraduates, we'll hit some of these in the second half of the course, but for the undergraduates, but for the graduate students, and again, there's more expected from the graduate students. We expect your work to be better and all that. What the Bureau of Economic Analysis is, what an economic indicator is, what are the top U.S. economic indicators, what's a business cycle, what political economy is, what the SEC is, what the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority is, what the Securities Act of 33 and 34 are, what an annual report is. Okay, so we're going to look at all those things. And actually, for the undergraduates and the graduate students, you guys are both going to have to deal with the Federal Open Market Committee meeting. And I sent an email to the graduate students. We have a link here. Yeah, we're sharing this thing. All right, we have a link here, and I sent you this link. This is the Federal Open Market, and read what this. Basically, these are the people who determine the size of the money supply, what the banks have to lend out, and they try to control interest rates by the supply of money and by setting a policy rate that trickles down to credit cards and home loans and car loans and everything that a bank can sell in terms of financing. It all depends on the federal funds rate and the discount rate and those kinds of. And there's some history here, and I'm not going to go through this right now, but you guys can certainly easily read this. When you click on the meeting calendar here, and actually I sent you the link for the December meeting, which all the information, even though the meeting happened in December, but all the information is out. So under press conference, you see you have this meeting statement, implementation note. You should be reading so the graduate guys, you should be reading all this. And the undergraduate folks, eventually in the second half of the course, you're going to be responsible for doing this too. There's a press conference here. You're going to read this. I'm going to generate a bunch of questions. We'll go through some models. We'll do some Excel stuff with this. This is the basis for the graduate course. Okay. And you guys, this is an hour. And for the graduate students also, I think all of my time value of money lectures are public, so you could just type in time value of money. I'll send you the link, the linkage to them, but we'll get to where all the videos are. But here, so you have the syllabus here, okay, with the materials. There's two assignments, or one or two assignments for the graduate course, okay, and we'll so there's no sit down exams or you come in with a piece of paper. There's none of those kinds of things. Don't worry about this percentages. Don't worry about that stuff. Okay, and that's it. So that's the syllabus. Okay, so there'll be two assignments. There'll be a bunch of questions, some Excel work, and we'll get to you'll see an example of the Excel very quickly. Here's the textbook. I gave you guys a textbook, and actually I'll put the finance textbook up also. But the economics one is good enough for now. But I got to put the finance one up there. The readings list. This is very important for the graduate students. Okay, there's about 100 pages here, and you guys should just be, every week you should be reading about 25 pages or so. There's some articles in here, some good definitions in here, and I'll generate some questions out of all of this also. Okay, so there's some. Well, again, we see how the course unfolds. What a financial shock is, what a demand shock is, what a policy shock is. what a supply shock is, different types of economic shocks. We'll go through what the personal consumption expenditure is, which is a key part of the economic profile of the country. Okay, so you guys want to see, you want to have some understanding as to what all this is. But like I said, you go through. This is very good. This is all gleaned from my conversations at work outside of St. Peter's. I'm not just a college professor. I'm I'm on the look, what do I do outside of St. Peter's? I don't say consultant. I'm on the acquisition team for a private equity firm or private equity slash debt, private debt firm. It's both of those private a firm that does private transactions. Okay, and I help analyze the targets of what we potentially would acquire, and it's basically banking. Banking targets, banking assets, how much we can get for those assets, what are our relationships, those kinds of things. So you're getting learning, you're getting teaching and learning from somebody who does this for a living. So for the undergraduates, I know you guys are young and all these things, but maybe the experience, it might not be there, but that's, you really should, you're really fortunate to have all that. So to have somebody teaching this stuff, and then the template is the backbone of the course, really. Here, these are mine. These are my answers, kind of. Now this is for the time value of money, which we're not going to do too much of that with the graduate course. But you could, for the graduate students, you could see though what it looks like. It's going to be this kind of thing. But like I said, we'll go, and don't be blown away by this. We'll go step by step through everything. So don't worry, about what it looks like and what's going on and all these other kinds of things. Well, actually, what we'll do today, we're going to talk about effective interest rates. We'll talk a little bit about the consumer price index. And we have a couple of PowerPoints we want to go over. We'll get some data. We'll talk a little bit about CPI and what it is. There's various ways to measure inflation. So today is effective rates, and then the next lecture will be on inflation. We'll jump a little bit into the next topic also, because this is the effective annual interest rates is a very short topic. But like I said, and actually there's a template. See, these are my answers. There's a template, not this thing, but there's see this template. We'll fill this in. Now you guys have this. The graduate and the undergraduate folks, it's right here. Just download this. It's got 2 tabs. And like I said, with the tabs, you want to be aware. There's a CPI tab. There's a time value of money tab. You want to be able to toggle between. So you have to understand, you got to click on them and you have to use the arrow keys, because it's not just what you see on the screen. Okay. It goes, these files, these tabs go, worksheets go. Okay, so you want to get used to taking a look at that and sort of dealing what inflation is, and we'll get to a lot of that today. Okay, in the lecture. So there you go. So for the graduate folks, you have some sense of this. I'll have you guys make some PDFs, and in the lectures, and the lectures will be very detailed. It's not just me up here saying, "Hey, let's do some homework." It's going to be like the classroom experience, but just it's virtual. You can just watch it anytime that you want to watch it. Okay, and I like the online delivery, because I have a lot of responsibilities. My mom is up there age wise. Here, how's mom doing? Here I sent, see this 97 with the car. We just sent out a message. I put this in the email. 97. She's going to be 97 on a Saturday. So so I put the 97 on the NASCAR. There you go. So, but yeah, so for the graduate folks, there you have your Blackboard site here. There's no announcements here, but here, let me just show you guys, the finance course, the 401. So see, now again, I'm meeting live with them, so there's some live schedules also. But see here, there's all the links to the videos. You'll have this very quickly. And actually, I might even give you some of these that you guys can just watch a little bit for your own. Even though it's a lot of viewing, it's about 4 weeks of coursework here. But I'll throw this your way. And like I said, we'll do the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, the December meeting. We'll analyze that, and we'll get some good backgrounds here. This is an important formula. See, 1 plus real interest rate times 1 plus inflation rate equals 1 plus nominal rate. That's an important formula out there, and what Bill Gates is doing, even though he's kind of an old guy at this point. But he was sort of even though people criticize and say, well, the software was very buggy and there's better work out there, but he was the real, I don't want to say visionary, because that's not really the word, but he just sort of brought it to the forefront, even though he may not have invented everything, and people always stole this, he stole that. But that's just that kind of business. It couldn't be one person's idea. Okay. So for the graduate folks, you have some sense now. You have the syllabus, you have the reading list. You should be reading about 25 pages of this every week. Don't wait till the end and just try to read 100 something pages. You want to read these, and I'll give you some little assignments sort of along the way, kind of a thing, and we'll sort of figure out how to deal with all that. But like I said, we'll have some things posted, and I like the courses to sort of unfold organically. as best we can. I know what I'm going to cover, but I just want to see sort of where you guys are. And for the graduate folks, we'll have a live meeting. Maybe that first week we'll all get online together for even just like a half an hour or something, and just have some sort of conversations about what's going on. Okay. All right. So let's here. So let's get to yeah. Let's get to. I don't post the yeah, for the graduate guys. I have to put this finance book up for you, and I will. I don't put the PowerPoints up there because I don't think it's really there's no point to it. But this is because it's all in the book. This is all in the textbook. Excuse me one second. Yeah, this is all in the textbook, folks. So what's the point of just reposting this? I mean, this if you look in the textbook, it's all in there. So here, and it's on the screen too. You can just look at this. There it is. Effective annual interest rates and interest rates that is annualized using compounding interest. Annual percentage rates are annualized using simple interest. So, you know, there's a this is big. It might seem minor, but understanding month-over-month interest rates, year-over-year interest rates, annualizing an interest rate either quarterly or monthly or some other semi-annual or something like that, understanding how to deal with all that. And the exponential math is very important in economics. It's very important in finance. Okay, so these are all important areas. That's again, these are some of the effective rate. So the effective rate is MR would be the monthly rate. And then it's monthly rate plus 1 to the 12th power minus 1 equals the effective annual rate. And we see this on the press releases from the Department of Commerce. And I use this a lot. And it keeps you from getting confused. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if it was this summer or last summer. The White House press secretary said, "Oh, inflation was 0." Was giggling about it. And I don't know if she really knew what she was giggling about. Or what that really meant was the month over month change was the same. So you still had inflation, whatever it was, let's say 5%, but you had 5%, from a year ago, and then you had 5% in June from last June, and then July from last July. So in other words, the month over month change was 0, and she was giggling about it, saying, "Oh, it's 0," and not really, maybe even really understanding what the joke was. And it really isn't a joke. If anybody goes and buys eggs, or I bought the cases of seltzer, and I told the woman at Little Falls ShopRite, I says, that's the 12 bottles, those 12 1-liter bottles. It was when it was on sale. It was $4 20 years ago. When I was still at Rutgers, it was $4 20 years ago at Rutgers, and now it's $6 on sale. And the normal price is like $7.50 or $8.50 or something like that. When the normal price was about $6.50, and so it's moved a good, whatever that is, 30% in price, and it's the same product. So we were joking about it with the cashier today. And the other part, so again, this is an example. The monthly rate is 1%. So for the year, that would be a 12.68% specifically, or just multiply 1% by 12 and you get 12% for the year. But again, I'm talking about this in a very sort of abstract way. See, I have the reference of the press releases and all the documentation that we look at, and saying, "Oh, well, yeah, when the Department of Commerce said this, and this, and the Wall Street Journal article said this, and this." So you have to be able to corral these percentages when you're dealing with analysis in the Wall Street Journal and the Department of Commerce and all those kinds of things. I'm not a big calculator guy, so I think you get from past videos, you guys know that. So, all right, so inflation is the next. So we went through those three overheads, right, or PowerPoints or whatever it is. Okay, we did that. We're here with this, so yeah, we're right there. Yeah, so we talked about effective rates. Okay, we did all that. Okay, these are my answers here. So let's not worry about that right now. Let's worry about my video. Okay, no, this is the video. Okay. Yeah, these are some lectures on CPI and what have you, and we'll get to that. May not get to that today, but we'll get to that. Yeah, this is what I wanted to hit. I wanted to hit this today. All right. So we're here. We'll do a little, and this is a little, just sort of the math workout of this. Okay, we're here. All right, what are we looking at? We're looking at various periods. So you're looking at a monthly rate, a semi-annual rate, a quarterly rate, monthly rate, a weekly rate, so it'll be 52 percentage changes, a daily rate, which is, I don't see that too often, 365, and then there's a continuous. And again, so for the graduate students now, this is all got to be formatted. See, if you control one, the formatting button, see what's number and it's centered and the font. You got to be able to control everything. Okay, so when you do your work now, I'll tell you, when I first came to St. Peter's, and I can't believe how long ago that was, but about a decade ago, when I started working here, I was teaching the corporate finance at night in Newark, and we had, I guess, an agreement with it was either New Jersey Transit or something like that, where it was in Penn Station, or one of those big office complexes right by the gateways where all the law firms are. And I remember there was a group of people in there who'd work, a good 10 or 12 people who'd worked. I don't know if they were, I don't know if it was at Transit, but I don't know if they were transit workers. There were various businesses in Newark. It was maybe the healthcare company. And a woman, she's from Jamaica, nice person, really a good, heartfelt, good people from Jamaica, a heartfelt person. And she didn't graduate college. I'm saying she was working on it now. Her kids could be at St. Peter's or Seton Hall or something like that. So she was, I guess, in her 40s or something. And she would no, she'd worked in corporate America for a while, probably 2 decades or so, and whenever we had assignments or graphs or handouts or something, and she had to do the PDFs and the work, her work was perfect, and I showed it to the class and say, "Look, you make a graph." The graph took the whole page, and it was very clear. It wasn't like some little corner of the page and the rest of the page was blank, or some terrible presentation of the material, and I showed it to the class, and there were some very sort of sarcastic grumblings in the class when I said, "Well, whose work do you think this is?" And a couple people, and I remember like it was yesterday. Some people said, "Oh, well, we know whose work that is." So I guess there's some undercurrents at work or something like that, and that I wasn't aware of. But her work was good, and that's all I really cared about. I didn't care that the people were upset or any of those kinds of things. And you should, Mom, I hope you learned from me that you should always strive to do very good work, and sort of what happens happens. Kind of a thing. Always just keep that in mind. That sometimes, the world isn't so fair sometimes, but that's just sort of and you got to be able to surf with that. One thing stops, something else sort of picks up. Always kind of keep those things in mind. So anyhow, so yeah, so again, the presentation is important. So the formatting here, these are centered. So you can see this, none of this is very haphazardly thrown together. Now, the annual percentage rates as you're walking down Main Street in Queens, you have all the banks from China sitting there. You'll see they're all offering 6%. And now, when this book was written, maybe you could get that. And I think we're getting back to being able to get these kinds of interest rates. Again, we're back to the cycle where they're a little bit higher. But when I was at Queens College, my not my last degree, but my latest sort of academic accomplishment after Fordham, after NJIT, was Queens College, where I have a legal studies. It's like a graduate degree in legal studies, and I remember the number 7 train. It would go past City Field. I was going to say Shea Stadium, but City Field, which where the Mets play in Queens. There's one more stop to Main Street, and then you got to walk about a half an hour to get to the campus. Is beautiful. You could see the east side of the Lower East Side of Manhattan, Midtown. It's a great location, and it's just, you're still in New York City. The police cars still say NYPD. The politicians are on the council, the city council in New York City, and all that stuff. It's still New York City, but you really feel like you're in the country, even though it's very dense. But there's a nice feeling. It's almost even difficult to describe. You're in the city, but you almost don't even feel like you're in the city. But it was very nice out there. But I would walk by the banks at the time, it'd be 1% or 1.25% or something like that in the window. So that's what these numbers sort of represent. Now, the rest of these columns, we've got to work out the rest of these columns. Now, also looking at this, if you just type in, whatever, just come up here, just type in 6, is it or 0.06 or something like that? See, it may not be the present. And what does this mean? Is it 6%? What does that mean? So this way, it's formatted as percentage, centered. One decimal, whatever it is, one decimal place, and the color. Now, the blue, for the graduate students, the blue means you've entered the number. A black font means there's a computation. So always just keep that in mind. Okay. Some of this other stuff here. That's per period. And this, we turn that into percentages. Okay, so the next sort of part of this would be, see what it says per period, so we can sort of work right there. What you want to do is you want to break up the 6% based on the periods. I think we divided. Yeah, we divided. Yeah, this is just a division. So here, I'm going to say equals. This is column AV and it's row 11. So equals AV 11. And notice how all of a sudden that cell is highlighted. Then you're going to divide by M, the number of periods. Now, before I hit return, I'm going to need this for the same formula, whatever, however, 6 more times or 5 more times or something. So instead of me, constantly retyping all this every single time, which you can see is a little laborious and it's a minefield of mistakes. The AV and the AQ and the 11. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a dollar sign in front of the A. You're going to put a dollar sign in front of the AQ. So what that means is as you copy and paste, it's going to lock in the column AV, so, or AQ, whatever column you're referencing. So you don't have to worry about that moving. Now, you might be sitting there saying, well, why don't we lock in the rows? Well, you want the row to float, right? You want the 2 and the 4 and the 12. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep taking 6%. You'll divide by 1, by 2, by 4, by 12, by all those numbers. So I'll hit control return. I'll clear out I just basically I did the keyboard shortcut for clearing out the fill just to clear it out. So here, I'm going to go right below that 6%. I'm saying control D. And now notice what happens. It's 6% divided by 2. I'm going to do it one more time, control D. It's going to be 6% divided by 4. One more time, control D. 6% divided by 12. And see how it's all percentage? Now I could do more decimal places or something. And actually, as I'm going down here, I'm going to have to do that, right? So even here, we could increase this by 1 more decimal place. I can say control D. And here I could do, right, a couple more decimal places. I could do 4. Right. So for the weekly, so 6% divided by 52. So each week, it's about 0.1% percentage change. Now, you know, if you're returning 6% and you've got millions of dollars in the bank, it's pretty good. I'm sorry to keep touching my nose here, but all of a sudden I'm getting the itches now. So I've been sick since the middle of November. It's like 2 months now. I've had coughs and different things. The daily, control D, 0.0164, right? All that. And the continuous, we don't need to worry about that. We'll get to that in the next column. And also control S, we keep saving our work. So all you basically did was you took 6% and divided it by a bunch of scalars, right? Just a bunch of numbers is what you've done. The factor is, and you got to be, and you're going to see this evolve sort of very, very slowly here. The factor is you're going to take here. Let me just clear this whole thing out so we know we're working here. You're going to take equals, which is for formula, parenthesis 1 plus that period rate, and then you're going to put that 1 plus in parenthesis, shift 6 to make it an exponent, and then you're going to lock in the M. So what you're doing is you're saying, okay, you're going to cycle through the year and saying, okay, well, I have one compounding period. It's 1 plus 6% to the first power, which is just 0.06 times. So if I have $1 invested or $100 invested or $1 million invested, right? What is this for $1 million? Let's check it out. Equals times 1.06, right? And so you'd be making what? Or you'd be turning, you're making 60,000 on every million. So let's say you have 5 million. How about that? So you're making 300,000 a year. That's what that means. That's pretty good, right? And here, so let's go through this and sort of lock in everything. So with the exponents, you could put a dollar sign. You could put the exponent in parentheses, but you don't have to. And also, you want to lock in column AS. Okay, so now what you do is you could take this and latch onto this little square here, or you could do shift down control D, and they'll all see how they all change. So I'll do that one more time. So what I've done is I've done the math, I've done the thinking and the algorithmic mathematics up here, right? And then I'm gonna say shift while referencing that cell, shift down arrow, and then control D. And now if you look, it's still 1.06. We have slight movements here, slight differences. Yeah, as you go further, if you're compounding every week or every month, you have a little more interest than if you compounded once a year, twice a year, right? It's 1.0617 as opposed to 1.0609. Now you might sit there and say, "Oh, what does that mean?" Well, yeah, if you have $10, that doesn't mean too much. If you have $5 million or $10 million, that matters a lot. Okay, and don't underestimate yourselves in terms of where you might head one day in terms of your work. Okay, and actually, we're not going to do the proof of this right now, but all of these things head over to or are bounded by the exponentiation of just e to the 6% is where these things is sort of the upper limit, the upper mathematical limit. Now, again, I know that doesn't mean a hell of a lot to a lot of you guys, okay? But that's the upper mathematical limit. And actually, as we're sitting here, again, make sure you save this as you go along. Let's do, what page was this? Again, for the graduate folks, I'll get this. I'll get this the finance book posted for you guys also. Inflation. Yeah, here's effective rates. Yeah, so what? This is PDF page 144. Yeah, here we're doing that. This is what we're doing. Here's the table 5.7. We're illustrating that. And you can see there. And again, I don't love the way these guys sort of. Mine's a little bit straighter. There's a sort of I don't know. I like my presentation a little bit better than what these guys did. Okay. And now, you want the rate, right? You want the annual effective rate is what you want. You say equals 1 minus, or actually here we'll do it like this, equals that quantity minus 1, and you can make a percentage out of it. That's 6%. With a couple decimal places, 6 with 4 zeros and 6 with 1 zero is still 6%. Okay. It's the growth factor minus 1. And again, you could go all the way down and it tells you what your effective annual rate. And this is really what you care about. That's really what you care about is that. Okay. But and again, like I said, we did a little, we did a little athletics, a little working out with this, a little calisthenics. Okay, a little mathematical calisthenics is what we did here. And you have that, right? Growth factor of invested funds or something. Yeah, but I did that's the effective annual rate. And then we have a little bit more of a refined formula. It says more frequently the interest is compounded, the higher the effective rate, annual rate of interest. So we have a conclusion there. And then we have a general formula here. APR is the annual rate divided by however many months of compounding to how many compounding periods minus 1. Or we've mainly used annual interest rates to value a series of annual cash flows. Interest rates may be quoted for days, months, years, or any convenient interval. Okay. And here we have the definition of effective annual interest rate, annual percentage rate. Okay. And this is just an example. We threw the 1% in there, and I think we worked. Now we don't have that, but the 1%, I could do. What is this? 12. I can make that 1%. See, and all of a sudden, looking at this, no wait, this is 12%. Yeah, there it is, 12.68. 12.68. Okay, it's 12% instead of 6%, right? So, and the beautiful thing about this is you have it programmed in there already. Now, again, this is what I do, and I do this all the time. I've done this for your lifetime and a little bit more, but that's the power of this. And this was a brilliant piece of software. And I remember when I went back to after I left Rutgers, got my MBA, worked at Value Line, then went back for a couple of years, then came to St. Peter's. But I remember being shocked. I was in the graduate school at Rutgers. I was shocked that the students, really weren't ready with Excel or didn't feel comfortable with Excel or whatever. And I was just shocked at that was sort of the case. This was not that long ago, so I was really sort of surprised by that. Okay. But it's a good piece. It's made for accounting. It's made for finance. It's made for what we're doing here, made for graphing. And you don't need something. I remember when I was a kid, high school and whatever, you needed a specific graphing program, and you need a lot of different software. Now, a lot of it is contained in this one suite of, you can do everything pretty much with Microsoft Office. I'm definitely a Microsoft Office guy, more Microsoft Office guy. But yeah, you can see here the little conversation here about how to convert from a 1% monthly rate to a 12% annual rate, and what the effective rate is, and you'll hear that in the conversations out there. And it's, it's important to understand that. And I tell my guys at work all the time to, and now look, it's just that, and believe me, this is why I'm there. I'm the smartest guy in this respect, you know, of all the people I work with, by a great distance. Not mildly smarter, by a great distance, but also, the people I work with, if they need $100 million for a transaction, they can go get it tomorrow. And so everybody brings something, to the table. Everybody's got a reason for. We could define, why Enzo is there, why Mike is there, why different people are there, why Mary is there, whatever it might be, Mary Kate rather, actually. So then why everyone's there is rather clear. So the effective rate is the annual rate that interest rate grows, or generally the effective annual interest rate is the rate at which money grows. Allowed for the effective compounding, 1 plus the effective annual rate, and then 1 plus a monthly rate to the 12th power, and then you pull it, you subtract out the 1, which is what we did here. Right? This is the subtracting 1 part. Okay, so we just sort of wrote it out for you guys a little bit better. What an annual percentage, and again, the good thing about my notes is, but a lot of the work is there. The annual percentage rate is the multiplier rate divided by the period, by number of periods in a year. Pardon me. It's the rate, yeah. It's the growth rate divided by the number of periods in the year, based on the truth in lending laws, applies to credit cards. So yeah, it says it right here, based on truth in lending. So the banks have to advertise the APR in their window for loans, or for car loans, or for CD products, or financial products and things of that nature. And again, as you sort of scroll down, you just have little bits of notes here. What a 1% interest rate is, based on APR. You just multiply that by 12. How to develop the effective rate from the APR, dollar invested, 1 plus the APR divided by periods of 12 periods, or 1 period, or 2 periods, or 4, whatever it might be, or to the M power, that kind of a thing. We have a little bit of a summary here. The effective annual rate is the rate at which invested funds will grow over the course of the year. It equals the rate of interest per period compounded for the number of periods in a year. The truth in lending laws apply to credit cards, auto loans. I was saying all this stuff before. The APR is not used in the big leagues of finance. Whatever that means, whatever the big leagues of finance is. But what they're saying is that the effective rate is the big leagues of finance are also the United States Department of Commerce, where, believe me, they're not earning, with all due respect to those folks, they're not earning what a banker earns at a Wells Fargo or something like. They're not. So I don't really know what that means, but I'm just cleaning up a bit. This is another example that maybe that actually might even be better served going over that another, instead of just repeating ourselves here. This might be better served another time. Hitting that. So, and like the next video, we can just go back to hit that, because it's the same thing, and I don't want to sort of wear that out a bit. Continuous interest compounding is bigger than daily interest compounding. Sure. Okay. Can create effective rates by calculating interest at more frequent interest rates by calculating interest at more frequent intervals of time, or by getting better returns on their by getting better returns on their instrument transactions is really the best thing to say here. But this is since 513. Self-test, that's the 8% one. Okay, so yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know why this is referred to here. For some reason, I don't know why. Okay, but regardless of that, well, like I said, we want to always have sort of have the same topics sort of broken up over a couple different videos. The inflation part. I mean, there's a lot of indices out there that you can use for this, but the inflation part. So that's it for effective rates, and that's it. So we've covered that. But the effective part here, or the inflation part rather, refers to the CPI, and actually we're going to define that pretty soon. And also looking at this, Yeah. There's a lot of years here. I'm not going to do all of these, but um, what we're going to do here, if you guys just can be patient with me while we do it. There's a graphic here, and we'll get to the what the graphic means and some questions. But looking at this, we want to go to a bunch of years. We want to get to sort of a little bit more timely here with this. So what I'm doing, if you guys can just bear with me here, I'm just sort of setting up this is my file that I'm sort of working on here. This refers to, yeah, this goes back 12 periods. That's 19. 20. 21, 22, 23. So yeah, this stuff goes terribly right. It goes to a bunch of different. So actually, whatever. I think the last time we were working on this a couple years ago, I don't know, something happened. So we sort of lost the. Anyway, we should go back to 2018 with this. We sort of lost uh, uh, the groove in doing it. But here, we'll do. Yeah, these are year over year, and these are monthly that are annualized or something like that. Yeah. So we show sort of the month, and actually, I'm going to do this in our version when we work on it. But actually, if you guys can just bear with me here while I do this, 18. I'm just putting in the formatting. You have to be able to see. You wonder why the models I make are so long. You have to be able to reuse things, and you got to be smart in terms of how you do everything. So let's just say everything from 18 to here, we got to put new numbers in there because we're not confident with those numbers. Excuse me. So, and also there's this times thing. It refers to 1980 and what have you. So we do a lot of that too. And that was somewhere in the book. So we're referring to. I don't think that's 1980 anymore. It's the end of 81. Yeah. You have to anchor those when you start moving this stuff around. Change relative to 81. Change to 50. Yeah, but this so it's how many times the index has moved, and we're going to discuss these indices, these CPI indices, and actually we need to drop the data in there and all that. So yeah, this is just my answer sheet, and I'm just sort of trying to get us in there. Okay, so we're going to go to 17. There we go. So it looks a little bit better. There it is. That's a consumer price. Now this is actually what are we graphing here? We're graphing, yeah, the year over year percentage. Yeah, we have the year over year percentage, not the index. You generally don't graph the index. It's a CPI, but also just as we're here talking, so you have some sense of what this all is. We have these decades here. So we're gonna take the whole story here, and actually there's some definitions here that are probably pretty good for us to whoops. I don't think we need all that. So here, let's just do it like this. It's a little cramped. And again, I've done this for a long time, and I still, you go back and you say, hey, I wish I could have done this, that, or the other thing with this. Moved it back a bit because what I want here, I should have the whole sort of decade here, but I don't. Um, yeah, we did some math here with this. So copy one, copy 22. And we went to 2018, and what we really should do is go to 2022 with this, probably, right? So we'll change that. So you always have to change. So yeah, there's data in here, and we'll do copy here, paste, paste there. But also, we're going to clean out these numbers, and we'll go to the because we went back to 1950 with this. We'll go back a couple of years or something like that. We'll go back to even 2010 or something, and just jump all the data, and then I'll show you how to do that. But here, what the CPI is, the definitions are here. The Consumer Price Index shows how inflation has increased the cost of a typical family's purchases. Okay. And there's other ways of sort of looking at that, but we'll look at that the way we, we'll look at that the way we have it to look at now. There we go. Save workers go. Economists track the general level of prices using several different price indices. The one that a lot of people know is the Consumer Price Index, but as mathematics has sort of evolved here, we have a better version of that. But it says that this measures the number of dollars it takes to buy a specific basket of goods and services that's supposed to represent the typical family's purchases. Thus, the percentage increase in the CPI from one year to the next measures the rate of inflation. So so if you don't buy that basket of goods, there's you're going to be off a bit with this. And for whatever reason, the book used all these years. I don't know why. Yeah, it went back to 1950. And we looked at the percentage changes in these specific years, and I think we computed some of that. I don't know if we're going to do all that today, but we'll at least get the data uploaded. Okay. And again, that in and of itself will be a pretty good example here. So okay, so now we're here with this, and also we've done this. So yeah, I'm trying to illustrate that table in the finance text. I'm sure that the latest version has a better version of. Okay, we have a graph here. Okay, so you see this some questions. For some reason, I felt that it was important to put those questions in here. I don't know why I did that, but actually, let's see if we can find. Hey, we don't seem to have those questions in there, but I'm going to throw them in there. You can find those that list of questions. I probably moved it around a bit, and we have a graph coming. So, but here, what are those questions that are up here? Those questions are, and there's a link here to them. It's on Bureau of Labor Statistics. What's the CPI? How is the market basket determined? Somewhere I have what's in there. Buying a car, traveling, medical care, clothing, food, gasoline. It's all those kinds of things. Rent or something. Your shelter costs and those kinds of things. Okay. So here, let's do this. Copy. We got a graph. We have a graph coming, and also we know that we have some other stuff. We have to extend this a bit. So this graph, we're going to cut this apart here, and we'll come down a bit. If we need to come down more, we will. I know we're going to have to extend this because whatever year we worked on this, we sort of didn't finish. But actually, just looking at the time here, let's get the data uploaded, and you have some sense of what CPI is. And like I said, and I have better definition. Then we're going to go over this again. It's specifically, and actually here we might actually have the listing of housing, apparel, transportation. vehicle with a 15-gallon capacity tank, and all these different things: medical care, recreational care. There's a couple different types of CPIs. Like I said, so if you like statistics, these government jobs are there to be had. That's for sure. Okay, so we worked on this. So I'm going to pull this away from here. And actually, next video, we'll go back to our rate there. And actually, we're going to be here with this. So we're working on this right now. So also, and you want to always lay out this goes up to 20. And I think as we saw before, and we can drag this down a bit. We're there. Okay. Okay, this is a little off here, but I think we'll move this. We can start moving these things around a bit also. So you're seeing a little sort of the fixing that we have to do with everything here. And I think down here, and it should go there. Yeah, we have this extra. Don't need in the center of that. Shading in there. This we're not going to get, but this looks like some kind of, what do you call it? Some problem where we used real and effective real rates and the nominal rates. And we already did that with the Gates thing, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so we're here with this. So the reason I'm sort of clicking around with this is we need. One, 22, 23. Let's not worry about 24 right now. Borders out, and we'll put all. So this is sort of the easy part here. Putting the numbers in is sort of the easy part. And this thing, and you're seeing me sort of move these big hulking pieces of real estate sort of around here with you guys. And we're gonna do a little bit more of that. So it might get slightly tedious, but I'm just showing you, computer science. This is computer science, and this is what it looks like. Okay, it looks like this kind of thing. Okay, yeah, this is a big gap there. So that's for the years. You're not going to need something this big for the years. Those are percentage. And actually, here's what we're going to do with this. These are the relative changes, and actually, the November numbers. Yeah, so folks, if it just be a little bit patient while we sort of work through this. I'm just thinking to start moving things around here. All right. Now, This is when you have big stuff to move, right? You have big stuff to move. You're doing what we're doing now. And that's this. Okay, no, we're still pretty good. Okay. You can see this thing has hundreds of lines, a couple hundred lines of yeah, we're gonna need another one of these. There we go. And actually, just something to throw in here, just going back to my answers here. You're gonna need one, two. So the fourth column, you're gonna need all those December. So I'm copying and pasting them here. 2, 3, right there. Paste. See that? So you can type those. Now, if you don't mind, we're gonna go through all the we're gonna do this like 50 times, right? It's a little tedious, but this is an important piece of the puzzle here. But again, it'll make you have dexterity. It'll train you, and you'll be sharp with everything. So again, I really apologize that this might be a little on the tedious side, but the book starts referencing the 50s and whatever. So we're gonna just sort of try to validate what the textbook is talking about. And again, this sets our field, right? So you play football, right? You want to know how big the field is. I don't know if you guys recall, probably about 10 years ago, or maybe even more, like maybe the mid 2000s, the Patriots. Like, and I don't know if you guys are how familiar you are with American football, but when they do the kickoff, one team runs down, they kick the ball, and one team runs real fast towards the other one. There's like collisions and all these things. And what would happen is sometimes you have the out of the 11 guys on both teams, you have the outside players on the sort of the the numbers, they would run out of bounds. So it's not now. Now I think the problem with that was it was never stated in the rules that you couldn't do that. That you couldn't run out of bounds or something. So what would happen was the Patriots would line up their players and coaches where if the opposing player ran out of bounds, they'd have trouble getting back because the players on the Patriots sideline wouldn't move, kind of a thing, and it was real sinister stuff. But again, a little advantage, and Belichick up there in Boston, he knows that a touchdown return here and there, or a good return, a 50-yard return on a kickoff or a punt return or whatever it might be, can go a long way in a game. So every little now again, when you're operating at that level, at the finest, at the highest level of athletics, the highest level of business, those little advantages, become, magnified in a gigantic way. So it's always important to understand. I'm just telling you the story as I'm clicking through all these things. It's always important to understand, your field and what what you can do with everything. So this was a bunch of times, folks. I appreciate your patience as we're rolling through this. So, but again, you type these out once, and that's it. You don't keep retyping them. So there you go. Okay, so you have that. All right, you have your 12 months. Okay, you have your 12 months. And then hit escape. Anytime you select something, you always want to hit escape. This next piece of the puzzle here, this is equal 1 divided by 12. Okay, and the first year, this was 1950. Okay, wow. Okay, a long time. Get rid of the fill here. This was equal to this, and this equal that year plus that 112. So what you're doing is you're creating decimals for the so when you make a graph of these numbers, you want so CPI value, AUC. What was AUC? What did that mean? What did we use for that? All urban consumers. Okay, all urban consumers. You want to be able to create numbers for these 12 months. So what we'll do is, there's 12 months, 1 divided by 12 is 1/12 for each month. So what you'll do is you'll add 1/12 to each the previous number. Now, you could do this a couple different ways. You could do it like this, where you just keep referencing the sort of the previous number. But what you need to do is you can lock that row. Because see how outrageous how big the numbers got? That doesn't make any sense. You want 150, but reasonably spaced. There you go. That's how you want. So what you've done is you're referring to the previous year and then adding 1/12 to it. That's basically what you're doing. Control D. You want to put a border. And so now this first one is kind of weird. So what you'll do is, or what you can do, you can just fill down the whole way. Clean up Alt HB, no borders. Alt HB, bottom border is an O. All right. Once you have this year filled in, C51, now you can do the same story. There's probably a better way to do this than the way I'm. So 54. We're seeing all the different years. Think of the years as we're sort of ticking off the calendar here. There's probably and actually a way to do this would have been also, because you want the years at the beginning here. So this would be equal to the previous one plus 1, like that. You have that year, and again, you want to put your borders in. So what we're doing here, I'm actually looking at this. Whatever we picked here. So you could take 52, right? You could take 52 like that. Copy, paste. See how now we're doing the whole story? Okay, so we're good. Yeah. So see, and actually, we probably could have done everything. If I was a little bit smarter with how I did this, I could have probably done all of it like that. See how we're doing this now? So, and we're including that main year number that we're looking at, 61, and then we'll go back to the table in the textbook, and we'll make sure that we're on the right track. But see, we're track with everything, and this is where not using the mouse as much, and I'm using keystrokes. I'm saying Control V, Control V, Control V, all these different times. Okay, which makes it a little simpler, a little easier for me to get through this in a sane manner. But again, folks, and this is discipline. It takes some time. We're doing jumping jacks in the Marine Corps. We're running in the Marine Corps. We're down at Camp L in North Carolina, running around. That's what we're doing right now. So for the Marine folks out there, you know what I'm saying. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're sharp. We're taking rifle training. We're on the obstacle course. That's going to help you. That's going to help you. So, and we're clearing out, as you can see, we're clearing out all the shading, and we're creating a nice structure for what we're talking about here. And we're going to pick up the data in a second. Now, look, the data, and people who've taken previous classes with me know what I'm about to say here. The data does get updated, over the years, but it's usually the more current data. I really doubt the data from 1963 is being updated now. I really doubt that. So we're not, folks, we're not too far away. 07, there's a few more to go, right? 07, 09. Okay, about 10 more to go. Right? And again, it's fast, right? I'm saying that's what Excel lets you do. And up to 2021. And actually, we're gonna need to pull out another one of these. Copy, paste. There's 2022. Save. A lot of work. Again, you're painting the field, right? You're painting your field is what you're doing. Okay. And again, we had some space here, right? We did a lot of different things. So what is this thing? I have there's something here. I don't know what this is, but yeah. Oh, okay. All urban consumers. Okay. Yeah. So now, see, here's the thing: the Labor Statistics Department drops in the data into these sort of calendar looking tables, which doesn't really help us make the computations. And folks, like I said, if it's not entirely clear what the consumer price index is, we're going to have, the next lecture, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But all I'm doing right now is just trying to get the data in here, and we'll see. Just looking at this and looking at the progress that we've made, I think we can answer some of these questions. Because what are we doing here? Let's look at the textbook has this. It says what the CPI was in 1950. It doesn't say it's probably most likely the end of the year, and then looking at percentage changes and how different everything is. Okay, and this goes up to 2013, but we can we can, once we sort of get the hang of doing these percentage changes, we can update it ourselves, just like the Bill Gates problem, just like some of the other problems that we've worked on. So now looking at this though, you have these percentage changes. Again, it's an illustration of sort of the mathematical ideas that we started out today's lecture discussing. So okay, so we're here. I think we're looking pretty good with everything. All right, we're up to 23 with this, and whatever it is, 50 years, or no, it's more than that. It's 70 years, right? 70. Yeah, because it's 20. Yeah, 20 plus 50. So here, let's go to the labor statistics website. So this is pure labor statistics. It's just bls.government, and then you go to data tools. That's it, and you can see compensation, job gains, a lot of economic statistics that are here. Popular series. There it is, all over consumers, and there's base years. So we're going to do the base year, the 82 to 84. Yeah, here it is, and we're going to adjust that. We're going to adjust that in a second. So yeah, we did 82 to 84 is the base year. Okay, so this only goes up to 2012. So, but here, right up here, you can click, and you can go back to the 50s, I suppose, right? And let's throw a graph in here just for the hell of it. Now, just to keep in mind, this graph, this is simply the index. And again, the index is a pure number. There's no units, not dollars or euros or something, and it just mathematically models the behavior of prices. That's it. Prices have gone up in the last 70 years. That's how you interpret that graph. This graph doesn't do much for us, and this is generally not reported. It's probably reported maybe in the technical, but the journal doesn't report what the index is. It reports what the percentage changes are, and you have to struggle a little bit to determine, is it monthly, is it month over month change, is it year over year change? Generally year over year change, but you have to even struggle with that. So now here you can see, now looking at this, the textbook said in 1950 the CPI was 25. Oh, surprise, surprise! There's the December number, 25. What does it say in 1960? It says 29.8 in 1960. Oh, 29. So it's the December number, 20. How about that? 1970, 39.8. There it is. Okay. And it says 86.3 in 1980. Do you guys, where were you in 1980? 86.3. And then eventually they were doing the half year numbers. 90s, 133.8. 2000 is 174. And 2013 is 233. And you can see there's more precision. Yeah, there's more precision with these numbers. 233 right there. Okay. Now you don't have to swoop in and try to copy this. You can, but here there's a little button here. Just click on Excel, and it downloads the Excel for you. And what you'll see that we'll do is we'll just download from their Excel sheet from the labor statistics department sheet. And we're opening it right now. There it is. You don't want the half year numbers, so you could just go to 1950, enable editing. You're going to go to 1950, January, and skip all that half stuff, and just go to December 22, 2022. You're going to copy those. You're going to slide over to, see, and this is why we set this up, where you can just drop off the numbers, and that's it. There you go. That's it, see? And now you have something in your Excel that you control that has the numbers in there. Yeah, these are formatted, right? Everything is, and actually these are not formatted for some reason. I don't know why. We got to change that right now. Copy. There it is. You got to be careful that everything is formatted. Okay. There's your data. And then say after you do a big data move. So I copy and paste it. But when I paste it, I just pasted the values. I didn't paste the formatting because I care. And again, I can't say enough. I care very much about how things are formatted because it's you're talking to Trump and the president of Germany and whoever you're talking to. You want to have your work look good. And it can't be. And these guys have so little time and you know. You it's a symbiotic relationship with politicians and sort of the money guys who can raise the capital. They need the technical people like us to sort of explain it, but without the money, what we do, we're basically just in the words of Alan Greenspan, we're basically just pamphleteers, right? We're basically just pamphleteers without the capital. And there's a lot of those folks around, but what are you going to do? Okay, so there we go. Okay, we have all that now. Yeah, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to take the data, copy, and you're going to go down to the years here. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to flip all these, believe it or not. So you're going to click here, Alt H V S Alt H V S E V return, then clear out. See, that's called transposing. And you're going to have to do that 70 times now without going bananas or out going blind doing it. And actually here with the formatting, let's just check what we're doing here. Okay. Yeah, we have, and again, we have an index here. We're counting our, so we have 800 plus 870 pieces of data. You just add to the last cell number, the number that's in the last cell. Now, again, there's a very big programming component to this, folks. And actually, if you want, what you want to do, and I've done it in the past, I'm going to do it again. I'm gonna write down the copying and pasting that we're going to do here. So Shift Control right, copy. This is 1950. These are the values. So now it's Alt F. No, we don't want that. Alt H V S and then E V and then clear out the. So I just have that written on a piece of paper on the side there. My little keystrokes. And then you do the next year. Now this Shift Control right, copy, and this is what Alt HVSEV. If you notice, we bolded out the December number, so we bolded out some of the numbers that we sort of we were looking at here. So that's sort of on purpose. And again, you have to have some discipline, to execute all this. Alt H V Alt H E S E V. I'm hitting Control Z every time there's sort of a mistake somehow. So two HVS EV. Two Shift Control copy, right arrow copy. Alt HVSEV. Shift Control right, Control C. And again, slow, methodical work. Alt H V S E V. Alt HHN. Get rid of the fill. A good year, I think, right in America. That 55. So Shift Control right arrow, and what this will do for you. This really will focus you. Alt H V S E V. It'll help focus you. That's what this going through this will do. I'll use the down arrows, and you'll get very good with the keystrokes. Alt H S E. You'll be like me. You'll have it committed to muscle memory. 7. This is 58. Now 59. And again, you just, there's no, you can even turn on some music if you want when you do this. I'm not doing it now, but, the Who Tommy, right? You can listen to the Who's Tommy opera or something like that, right? All right, so 60 now. Let's look, 1960 was 29.8. Yeah, and see, we have that highlighted, 29.8. So as you go through these, and save, we did a decade, save your work as you go, and then we're going to start referring to different years, and we'll work that out as we go along. Shift Control right, copy. 61 Alt H V S E V. I'm just going through the same keystrokes. Alt H V S E V. There's 65. Alt H V S V. Again, a little tedious. I know, a little tedious, but you can see, I'm doing it right. I'm sitting here doing it myself. Alt H V S E V. All right, that's 69. And this is 70. Shift Control right, copy. And again, you don't want to rush it, right? You want to just maintain your composure. Alt HVS EV. 71 is not, and again, so 70 is 39.8. There's 30. So as you're seeing, so we're seeing the reading of the CPI here, but you can see the work involved in that, right? Heavy duty, right? Heavy duty, right? A lot of work to do all this. Alt HVS EV. Copy. '72, good year for the Rolling Stones, right? '73. To 75. Alt HVS EV. All right, copy. All right, copy. Alt HVS EV. '78. All right, that was 79, and we'll get 80. There's really no. I wish I could say, oh, there's a faster way, but it's like I said, it disciplines the mind. It really, and that's a big piece of what I'm trying to teach you guys. Just have that good mental discipline, and I'll tell you, it served me, dramatically since my NJT day, excuse me, my NJT days as a student. It really served me in a big way, especially now. So 80 is 86.3. Yeah, 86.3. Okay. 2, Shift Control right, copy. We'll do 80. And actually, I'm just looking at this. Some of them are this. I don't know why there's just 2 decimal places here. 83 is next. '84. '85. Oops. HVSEV. Challenger was 86. I think that the Challenger was 80. I'm thinking of the years as the years we're ticking off the years here. Thinking of what was happening in the different years. Shift Control right, copy. Alt HVSEV. We have 30 more of these. Can we? Are we going to make it? 30 more? We'll see. Hopefully. All right, this is 89. Alt HVSEV, and then we'll get to 90. And you'll see, though, after we do all this, sort of why we did everything that we're doing. And the up and down keys, help you navigate. '93, an important year in my life, right? 1993. It was 1995. There's 99. A few more to go. 20 more to go, right? We can make it. 2000. Well, this 2000 was 174. Yeah, 174. 1990 was 133.8, 133.8, and then we do the percentage changes. So here, just to break up the monotony for a second here. What are we doing? 1960. Yeah. Here's 1960. And what are we looking for? Percentage change. It's equals that index minus the reference one, which is December 1950, divided by December 1950. 19.2%. What does this say? Oh, 19.2%. How about that? See? And now, you have some confidence in the sense that all the stuff that you did here, all this typing. So you took the December 1960 CPI and the December 1950, a decade earlier CPI. Okay. So yeah, you have it's a 10-year change. And I don't know, some of this other stuff, uh, we did the relative to CPI changes or something like that. I don't know what we did here. So here, so this stuff, let's get rid of it. Let's see. I don't know. We have the yellows there. All right. Well, that's for the time being. It's not really bothering us. So let's sort of just leave it in there for the time being. So there's 21. Shift Control right. Copy. Alt H V S E V. $2020. Copy. Alt H V S E V. Okay. 18. Let's look at 18 here. Alt H V S E V. 17. $16 is here. Right, copy. $15 is the Trump. Is that when Trump got 15? Was Trump? I forget if it was 15 or 16. When he announced it, I think that's when he announced it. $13. Is 11. Oh, 01. Let's look at 01. Copy. Oh, 03. We're getting there, folks. Almost done. Almost done. Does anybody have their time in this? How long this is taking? like I said, it'll discipline you. It'll discipline you to focus. Shift control right. You'll sharpen the mind, which a lot of you need, which a lot of students in a lot of colleges need. It's not unique to St. Peter's or Rutgers or wherever, that's for sure. Five. Less than 10 to go. And we could examine, what these, they're in the 20s and 30s. Now they're in the hundreds. Right. So it's prices are multiple times, where they've been. That's for sure. Six. Like I said, if you make a mistake, just calmly go back and adjust it. Shift control right, copy. I'm looking at 909. Oh, one more, just 10, and that's it. Okay, save your work as you go. And actually here, what we're going to do, if you guys don't mind, from 18, I'm going to go to my answer sheet here and just drop these in. Okay. So at least we were updated here a bit on my sort of yeah, and these from 10, we'll fill those in. There you go. 11, 12. Yeah, so we're good. Yeah, I'm just checking a couple. 12, 193. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Oops, I think we have one more here. Yeah, 10. HVSVE. Okay. Safe. There you go. And I think 2019 or 2010. What was 2010? Yeah, we didn't put that one in there. So 2174. Yeah, 174. 10, and then we could do 2020. Okay. And now, all right, now that we have that, okay, again, save your work as you go. So there's this heavy duty thing that we did here. Uh, you have that December 2020, 10, December 10, 2000, 1990, 1980. Let's check 1980. Good. 70, December. Yeah, so all the Decembers of the 70, 60, 50, all that. All right, we did a check here. Okay. We did a percentage change. So here, what does the book say to do? Okay, since 50. Okay. So what you should do here you want this to float, but you want to lock the 109, right? You want to lock this. I'm putting dollar signs in there. So copy. So I can go to 60, 70, 80, 90, and the 2000. 10. Okay, so as of December 2020, we're up about 941%. Yeah, and that makes 2023 was 832%, or 2013, 832, 832. So I don't know this relative to 81 stuff. I don't know. I forget what that was for. And this was 15, 846. So yeah, we're at 941, right? And then here, the latest one, we're at 1,000%. Okay, we're at 1,000%. And you could do, maybe every December even with something like that. And like I said, now that you locked in the 1950 number, you're working relative to that 7 decades of time, and you have all the numbers. So yeah, so what was this? December 435 December. So yeah, so there we go. You can see. So this innocent looking little table here, you saw the work that was involved, and we're still not even done. Okay, we're still not even done yet. Next thing we want to do is do the year. Now I don't have 19. I mean, I could, but I gotta draw the line someplace. So we're gonna go this January, the previous January divided by the previous January's number. You have 8% inflation in 51, and you can just drag this down all the way to November. Okay, so you do the year over year, November to November, and so on. The Alt H, the formulas only, and then clear out the formatting. Now, again, everything's pre-formatted. Okay. And I don't know. I mean, you can do this, copy, paste. You could just go through 70 times, something like that, if you wish. Might be a little dizzying, right? After everything that we just did, I just did a decade's worth. Right, and you can see inflation, what the year-over-year inflation was, and it varied, and you can even graph this and have some sense of. So here, this is inflation in the 50s. Without even, we're just looking for the shape here. We're just looking for the shape. We're not there. There's some up and down a bit. All right, leveling out towards the end of the 50s. You had the Korean War early on in the 50s. You had a lot of growth in the country. Okay, but that's generally what the inflation in the 50s would look like. But here, you could do this too. You can say copy. You go all the way and just bring the formula. Let's make sure all the formatting's okay. We can just run through, we're just visually. And you can see this 2022, you can see these years, right? It skyrocketed from that April, right? It moved a bit from the big federal spending programs and the reopening after COVID. So you have those 9, 8. You have those big changes here. Okay, that's the year over year number. I think we did a month over month number too, right? We did a month over month. Yeah, we did a month over month just to show the monthly change. And then I did a relative, just sort of a times version of things. And let's see if we can do that also. We'll get back to the month-over-month change is not that big of a deal. So yeah, here we don't need all this. So here, this is just going to be, how do we do it? Yeah, this is just relative. So in other words, I took this, divided it by itself. I'll lock the row in there. And I'll tell you what we could, so this is relative to CPI change relative to 950, even better to December. And you could almost go every December, right, and what that looks like. Maybe even 4 decimal places. And again, I don't know, why are these so far away? Liz, we could suck this in a bit. All right, take this, cut. We gave it a little too much space. So now we're just doing just kind of window dressing. What was this? This was, oh, okay, I see what we did. This was relative to 1980. Okay, I can see why we did that. Okay, we'll move it back. So this was the 1950 relative. Let's see why we did what we did here. So we'll take this 50. All the Decembers. Again, a bit of time, but, and I could do it by the decade if I really line this stuff up a little bit better. We're okay like this. See, not that much of a change in the 60s. Still, we're still in the 60s, but not that big of a change, right? Again, as I'm doing this, you guys should be working on this. Okay, you guys should be able to not, start knocking these out in Excel. And I think somewhere in the probably in the textbook is if, like I said, I'll post the finance textbook for the graduate guys, but somewhere in there you're going to have the you're going to have the 1980 references or something like that. There's probably a good reason for that. And here, let's see if we could do an entire decade. Let's just finish this one. Okay. We're up to 5 times the prices in December 89. All right, we're up to 5 times those prices. Okay, whoops. So right here, paste. Yeah, we did it by the decade. Paste. Look at that. Paste. There you go. Leave the comments and then save all that. But there you go. So looking now, we're 11 times the CPI relative to 1950. Okay, 1,000%, but about 11 times, 10 times. But that's about 1,000%. So you want to, again, you want to be able to distinguish, the percentage change. So we did a lot here, which was good. And we'll do a graph before we wrap this up. We'll do a graph. But so you have percentage change, and then you have how many times the CPI is different. But like I said, but this was a grueling thing that we did here. Let's do the month over month and make a graph, and we'll be good. And like I said, we'll put a reasonable fork in it, right now, and then we'll pick this up again, with tomorrow with another video. All right, do this here. So now the month over month, you could just go to February equals parenthesis. So the current February minus the previous February divided, the previous month divided by January. I don't want to mess up the line. That's why I'm just skipping like that. So copy Alt HV formula, Alt H10. And like I said, now you could go through copy, just by the year. Sometimes you're not going to have that much of a change, and God knows how these things were computed in 1957. How that work was done. Who knows? All right, not that big of a change here. Now what you could do, you could just go through from 62 all the way. Alt HV formula, Alt. The month over month changes are never going to be big. You can annualize it. You can do all sorts of sort of analysis with this. And what we'll do is we'll leave the 1980. There's a 1980 reference, I think, somewhere in here for whatever reason. Relative to 81. I don't know why that's in there, but there's a relative to 81. We'll get back to that. I don't know. I'm looking in the text. I've gotten. It's been a couple years since I actually read this, but um, you could do a December, and actually that might be a good little activity for next time that we get together. We could do something like that. Do this times thing, copy. Like I said, this little time, this should be over all the headings, but you're going to really go bananas doing that, right? I'll let again. That's on. I'll let you. We'll get to the end here, but I'll let you guys work. Do that. Dress that up on your own. I'm the kind of a person where I want, my personality is, let's make sure these are all labeled. That's my personality. But I'll let you guys finish these. I'll do a few here. Okay, but that's our work. Okay, let's make a graph of this thing. We'll make a graph of this thing. Okay. The graph that we generally make is the year-over-year change, and we'll go through the whole all the steps of making the graphs. And like I said, so down here at the bottom, we have some questions here. And again, this is at this website, so you can just, what the CPI is. You can go through some of these. How can I get more information? How is it updated? What are the limitations of it? We'll let you guys deal with that. So here, Shift Control up. This is all the back to 51. You want to go to Insert, Scatter. You don't want the curved one. You want just the sort of the jagged edge one. You can pick the chart layout, which is right there. You can do the layout. The legend can go up top like that, and you can see how this varies. Obviously, we've had high inflation before, right? We've had it before, so. Okay, so we're here with this design, select data, edit. So for your X, You want all those years, shift control down. This is CPEI. 1982, yeah, 82, 84, 100. Okay, let's see. What do we call the series? This was CPI for all. I know it's urban. I know it's misspelled. Urban consumers. And with this, we like our nice blues with this stuff. Okay. These are the months. This is the index. This is year over year. Percentage change. Okay. So we've had some higher years, and we went by the decade here. So this can be a little bit smaller. Let's see. Can we go by a percentage here instead of 2%? Let's see what 1% looks like. A little cram, but okay, we can leave that in there. All the grid lines. We don't need the grid lines. No lines. Okay. We're gonna do a border around it. Whoops. We don't want that. It's not giving me the border. I don't know why. There it is. There's your border. A very light fill. Do a little shadow. We like a shadow. The Wall Street Journal shadow. Right click format the axis. The alignment. Negative 75%. These are smaller. They went by 10 years. Good enough. Good enough for us. Can make this a little bit bigger. As you make it bigger, this will yeah, that'll spread out a bit. Okay. So we've experienced, and we don't need to go to 1940 with this thing. But all right, they gave you 10 years of cushion on the sides, which is fine. So you want to cut this. Standard graph is here. Okay. So there's what you have. You have something like that. Okay. But there you go. So you have a graphic. So yeah, this is a lot of work, right? This is a lot of work, and we're still gonna tinker. We're still gonna tinker with this for the next time. Okay, we have some sense of this. So what we have here, you have this next time we get together, we have this we can revisit these period effective rates, the percentage changes. We can revisit that. We have some experience with the CPI and what it represents and the labor of getting that data. And then the next time we'll have the inflation PowerPoints. We'll have some of these smaller specific examples here. There's about 10 of them. We'll go through these. And then I think this might be another video, this self-test. This might be a retirement problem. Just looking at it. Yeah, this is probably like a retirement problem or something. Yeah. We can get to that. that might be another video because that looks like that's gonna be a lot of work. So these are some stock markets. Yeah, these are some of the problems in the back of the book. Okay. So yeah, I know this is. I realize this was a little long, and I get that, but so let's do some sharing. So yeah. So anyhow, there you go. So for the graduate folks, you got an introduction to this, and for the undergraduates, post spring break, this will be your material, the material that we're going to deal with, post spring break. Folks, thank you very much. Enzo Di Cosenzo podcast. There you go.